It is the 12 June 2025, a date that can be integrated into the collective memory who burned in the air industry. On that day, a catastrophe occurred that shook the world. Air India Flug AI 171, a state-of-the-art Boeing 787-8 crashed shortly after takeoff in India. 241 people lost on board their life. The cause of this accident is still being investigated, but one suspicion pushes itself more and more into the foreground. One suspicion of the foundations of modern aviation could shake War S1 computer who crashed this plane. More precisely, was this the FADEC system? The first report the screams in the pictures of the wreck. Everything points to one scenario that is worse than any human error. It was one technical defect, one pilot error or one software error. Of the 241 people in the death crack, the answer could be in the digital guts, lie with the machine. The flight I-171 departed from Ahmedabad airport in India. Only a few minutes after takeoff, the machine disappeared from the radar. First messages reports of massive engine problems. One decisive indication was the extension of the ram air turbine short wheel. The counsel is one emergency generator that only extends when the engines or the main power fail. She is one clear signs of a critical emergency on board. In the last moments, the crew lost complete control about the plane. Below an altitude of 200 meters, there was no more chance. The tragedy was not limited to the occupants. There were also dozens of people affected on the ground. When the wreck fell, the most likely scenario that is emerging is the simultaneous failure of both engines. And this is where the FADEC system comes in. One system that potentially controlled the engines had and oversteered the pilots. FADEC stands for Full Authority Digital Engine Control. It is a highly developed digital control unit. Its function is the fully automatic control of the aircraft engines. The decisive thing in the process, pilots cannot oversteer deck. They give commands about the thrust lever. But FADEC interprets and performs these. To the key functions of FADEC include the fuel dosage. It regulates the airflow in the engines. It controls the ignition. It can start the engine automatically and it can also one engine simply automatically switch off. FADEC manages the compressor stages. It forces the observance of temperatures. And it performs comprehensive diagnoses and logging through. It is the brain of the engine. One brain that is superior to the human pilot. This is not the first time that FADEC is at the center of an investigation. One disturbing case occurred already in 2003. During a test flight, a B-42 bomber crashed. The cause was a complete FADEC malfunction. Triggered was this, due to a software error in an update. The consequence was devastating. All engines were switched off by the computer at the same time. Had again at the process in 2003. FADEC switched for engines simple off and the B-52 bomber crashed. We remember the statements is in the room. The pilots called Mayday. 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 No thrust, no power, no power. The pilots were powerless. They could not prevent the crash. This case has taught an important lesson. It shows the risk of software errors in critical systems that are not overtaxable. One computer error can cause one plane to crash, even if the pilots do everything right. We remember the Boeing Max series, where also computers from Boeing have let the machine decide for itself and trimmed the machine down against the submissions of the pilots. Is the one coincidence, or what is really going on at Boeing? The investigation of the crash of AI-171 is still ongoing. The exact cause has not yet been definitively determined, but the indications of one at the same time, engine failure, are strong. This inevitably directs the focus to FADEC. There are several scenarios how FADEC might have played a role in AI-171. Faulty sensor data could FADEC have led to MIS. This could be common. Have led two of the engines. One power supply failure could have brought the FADEC to a standstill. When FADEC fails, the engines also stop. One security shutdown could have been triggered by a logic error, similar to the case of the B-42 bomber. FADEC systems are susceptible. They may contain software errors. They are sensitive to electrical fluctuations. Problems with sensors can deceive the system. Each of these weak points could have come to bear on flight AI-171. Boeing has errors, as well as with Microsoft releases constant errors. I wonder, how safe are products from USA at all? Microsoft releases updates and the computers crash. Later then Microsoft releases updates again to fix the updates and crash other computers. This is how it is constantly repeated at Microsoft. I have often reported about it. How safe is Microsoft? And now Boeing. Clear millions of people fly with Boeing. With Airbus also. But only the many mistakes with the Boeing Max. And now possibly again a computer error. But this time in another area. Despite the potential risks, FADEC is, from modern aviation, not to think away. The advantages of FADEC are considerable. It increases the efficiency of the engines. It protects the engines before overheating and overspeed. FADEC helps to save fuel. It reduces maintenance. The Boeing 787 has particularly advanced FADEC systems. They are designed with double, yes, like the bomber, where for engines were also switched off. Some becomes gambling. When equal data lead to equal, they perform real-time diagnoses. Well, beautiful, I find good. They have self-monitoring function. But there is a decisive difference from older aircraft. On the Boeing 787, lacks manual emergency override. The pilots can, in case of emergency, not simply digital control, bypass and the engines control directly. They are adapted to the correct function of FADEC, instructed, and somewhere we are people of this technique then, mercilessly at the mercy. I ask you, do you still feel like going into a Boeing 787 now, or a Boeing Max to get on? The central question remains. One computer controls the engines. One computer that, potentially for the deaths of hundreds of people, could be responsible. The real cause of the AI-171 crash has not yet been conclusively clarified. The uncertainty is agonizing. She raises an uncomfortable question for the entire aviation industry on who really controls the plane, the man or the machine? And the victims of flight AI-171 reply. Their families deserve the truth. The aviation industry owes the world a statement, an explanation that clarifies that we can blindly rely on digital systems. All who control over life and death ultimately must be in human hands after all. The examination must be relentless. The consequences must be drawn so that such a tragedy will never be repeated. If you did not like the video, then write absolutely here at the video a comment. You can really tell me the opinion. Otherwise, if you like the video, clicks on like and write also a comment, because I am looking forward to your comments. But definitely here at the video, and not in Facebook or, in all three cases, you should also click on the subscription button, because that's the only way to get I publish one more video that you can scold, or that you may like. But honestly, nothing to do that is really stupid, not true. So until next time.